Record. All right, it's recording. All right, so who was more impressive, Chandler's win or Dustin's win? Let's start
We'll
with
start with Chris.
we'll
You
start with
really need
Chris.
to hear it. I can tell you everyone's answer right now. I can tell you the entire world's
Let's see. Chris.
Go ahead, Chris. Chris is gonna say he's not gonna say it now because I said that.
No, I'll tell you exactly who. Dustin, whatever. He beat the cocaine yacht champion.
Jesus Christ.
I'm not that impressed. Michael Chandler, that was so much more impressive. I mean, he just starched Hooker in the first round. I honestly think he should get the next title shot if Oliveira is just not there for it. I like Dustin. He's a good guy. You know, those calf kicks fucked up Conor, but honestly, I think Conor was taking shots at proper 12 before the fight. So I'm really only impressed with Chandler.
In between rounds. In between rounds,
Yeah.
they put inside that what do you call it? That bottle, that squirt bottle or whatever, where they give you the water. I don't know.
Yeah, I heard he stank like whiskey. Him and Keith Peterson were smoking cigarettes, taking shots of whiskey with Dominic Cruz.
Oh man, he's one of a kind.
Jim.
I'll say so. Chris has a good point as far as how it was done. Like no one does that to Dan Hooker. No one just like starts him like that. Not even Dustin. But the fact that Poirier was able to beat that mental block of losing the first time that quickly, and the pressure of being the underdog this time too. The fact that he was able to still keep composed and stick to a game plan and defeat Conor and finish Conor McGregor. I don't care how rich he is. Conor McGregor is a martial artist for life. You know what I mean? So he still trains hard. He's still Conor McGregor. No one does that to Conor. So I have to say Dustin was more impressive.
Okay, so I'm gonna go with the same answer. I'm gonna say Dustin was more impressive because, as we talked about, Dustin is fighting Conor and he's fighting the pressure and he's fighting the promotion all at the same time. so for Dustin to come out smelling like a rose after something like that is that's literally like slaying a dragon. Like he may as well have slayed a dragon, to be honest. So I have to say him as impressive as Chandler was, because I don't know much about Chandler. So that was an amazing introduction to some, because I don't watch Bellator, so that was an amazing introduction to him.
Chris, even though it was expected after that answer, you should retire from analyzing MMA. There is nothing more impressive than what Dustin Poirier did. Nothing. You can't even compare the two. Yes, Michael Chandler's post-fight speech was fucking incredible. Yes, Michael Chandler level changed and made Hooker look like shit. But let's be real. He beat a dangerous striker who lost his last fight. That's who he beat. Dustin Poirier finished, like Rose just said, a fucking dragon. He destroyed the undestroyable. The submittable, but not the destroyable.
The submittable.
I didn't make that clear. He's never been knocked out. And even if he's been knocked down in his career, it probably was once and he probably got right back up. This man knocked him out, pieced him up, took him. There's nothing more incredible than it. Nothing. Dustin Poirier should get an extra $50,000 just for that. He should get 2 performance of the nights.
That's a good point. Who got the? I wonder if he got performance of the night. Like if he
did.
Okay, yeah. All right. Cool.
He didn't do fight of the night. He did 4 performance of the nights.
Okay.
So 4 different fighters got performance, and he was one of them.
Man.
So Chris, you should be ashamed of yourself. Just want to make that clear.
But also too, Dan Hooker. Like, imagine how bad. Imagine how bad Dan Hooker feels. Like as far as where he's from, New Zealand, the quarantine. He had to stay on Fight Island now. His kids are away from him now. His wife is away from him. Imagine the shame, the embarrassment. Imagine how heavy he's taking this loss.
Let's talk about that for a second. Like, what was up with the Dan Hooker? I've never seen him this hesitant ever against people who are just as worthy, people who are just as scary. What was that? Like, I can't quite understand what made him freeze up, because he's fought like the best of the best. He's fought people. He just fought Dustin Poirier, and he fought Dustin Poirier like Poirier had his money. Huh?
Now here's the thing about it. Yeah. Okay. So in my opinion, Michael Chandler, right? If you watch his last few fights, you can see the kind of fighter he is. So you see how Whitley like kind of times distance and times that angle and lands that power shot and puts you out in one shot. Chandler has been fighting a similar style lately, and Chandler has great movement, and great distance control. So Hooker was kind of like, okay, there's an unknown here. You know what I mean? Like I watched some of his fights, but what the hell do I expect here? So I think that kind of made him a little more nervous than he usually is. That unknown factor of Chandler and the high distance too. You know what I mean?
I'm gonna
Okay,
be
so
real.
you're
Like,
saying so you're saying that that there's more of a there was more of a familiarity watching Dustin Poirier because Dustin Poirier is in the promotion. He's in the UFC. Okay,
Yeah,
got it.
yeah, and also stylistically too. Chandler has a different style than a lot of people. You know what I mean? That bouncing back and forth. That you know what I mean? The jab to the body. He's not Poirier. You kind of know what to expect when you fight him. You know?
I'm gonna be real. I
Conor
think it
didn't
was
expect that, but huh?
Yeah.
I think it was outside forces with Dan Hooker. I think it's something none of us are gonna know because I said it from the start to you, Rose. Right when he was walking out, I said Hooker looks strange. Hooker looks like something wrong with him. I said it while he was walking out to the octagon, and I got the same vibes from when Anthony Joshua fought Andy Ruiz. I was like, something's wrong with him. Like he came out like he's in the corner. He already looks like he's knocked out in the corner. He looks like he just got up from a 10 count. He looked weird. And that's how I felt Hooker looked. Hooker looked flat. Before the fight ever started, he looked flat. He looked like he didn't want to be there. He looked like a lot of shit was on his mind. He looked fucked up. And he never showed up after that, ever. And and it's not like he was
I think it was
some
all
figure
mental.
that had him like, like he was like, oh, I'm getting in there with Chen. There was no like, he had no reason to fear in a sense, like pressure wise, like when you're fighting a Conor. Even if you think you're better than Conor, there's that pressure that you're going to fear no matter what. Because for whatever, the hoopla, whatever the case. You shouldn't have had that with Chandler. And I know he did. So I think something we'll never know outside of the octagon stopped him from being who he is. I think he was defeated before he got in that octagon.
It could have been. It could have been the pressure from Michael Chandler coming in, because I kind of feel like everyone wanted Michael Chandler to come in there, knock him out, and maybe fight Khabib or jump right in the top 5 at lightweight. I feel like people were counting out Hooker from the start, and I think that mentally got to him. Now, it could have been other outside forces, but I really don't think that helped. I think he was counted out from the beginning, and then, I think it just got to him, and then, it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. Like, he really did get knocked out in the first. So he didn't look good when he was walking out.
Remember, everybody picked Hooker to win. Everybody. Every analyst.
That's what I'm saying.
Athlete.
I picked Hooker.
Almost nobody picked Chandler. Like,
I think I picked Chandler.
But I'm talking about like athletes and professional analysts and things like that. Pretty much all of them picked Hooker to win.
I think Chris took a second mortgage out on Chandler. So
on Chandler, yeah. Now I can pay that mortgage back.
Well, that too. Like you know what though? Maybe what he's saying is like the whole thing was set up for Chandler to show out. Like, it only helps the UFC if Chandler comes in. He just got signed. It only helps them if Chandler does what he did yesterday. So maybe like the stage was set up for that to happen, the upset. But
they took a chance on him.
Yeah. But also being away from his family, being away from his kids, quarantine, New Zealand, it's like a long ass wait time period. He has to wait now on Fight Island before going back. So maybe all of that got to him. You know what I mean? And he just fought months ago too. Wars. And like this can't be good for his career. He had back-to-back wars. Paul Felder and then Poirier. Wars, body shots, headshots, CTE shots to the head. And then you get starched.
CTE Island.
You get starched by Chandler. It's not good for his career. So I think that he needs to like take some time off. Maybe.
I also think Paul Felder won that fight. I'm gonna be real.
That was another war.
Yeah. So
I think Felder got fucking robbed.
It was close though. It was close.
Not close enough. I don't know. I don't know.
So like maybe all of that got to him. Also, like, did he retire yesterday or something? Because he tossed the gloves in the ring.
Yeah,
so.
I heard about that. I didn't see it, but I heard about that. That was weird. Don't know.
Okay,
he tossed it from outside the octagon. Just tossed his rings in the octagon.
Yeah.
The gloves. Yeah, that might have been.
That might have been a silent
retirement.
Who knows? They asked Chandler about it. He was basically like, I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck.
Yo,
But
next
I'll
question.
be real. Like, I just want to reiterate, like, Michael Chandler is a G, and he deserves all the clout he's getting. I disagree that it was made up for the upset. I think they secretly put Dan Hooker against Chandler because they know how marketable Chandler is, and they also know how marketable Dan Hooker is. So instead of putting Chandler against all the top guys, they were like, it doesn't matter who wins this fight because I can bank off of either of these dudes. Who doesn't love Dan Hooker's personality? And it's just like, I could market any of these guys. So no matter who wins this fight, it's a win for the UFC. And I think that's why they put Dan Hooker in there instead of like one of the other guys.
Okay. So next question I have for you guys. So you had different eras. You had like the BJ Penn era, which was a big era. Then you watch like a crazy fall like from his rise, right? So like and me and Jim, we talk about this a lot. Like we believe that at a certain point BJ Penn became domesticated as a fighter, you know, being away from the sport, you know, being at the top, living a good life or whatever. Has Conor been domesticated, you know, from coming out of 100-foot yachts and, you know, all this other stuff? Like, has he been domesticated?
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
I'll start out real quick. So I believe yes. I think that no matter how competitive he is still, as far as the sport, he might love the sport still. He might be competitive still, but that hunger is not the same when you don't have all that stuff. I'm sorry, but I don't care who you are. The hunger is never the same, even if you don't realize it. But these guys coming up who want your spot, they're always going to have more hunger than you. So he has a child on the way. Imagine how, like, kind of loves his family. You know what I mean? He loves his kids. He loves spending time with his kids. So I doubt that he's spending as many hours in the gym or training or thinking about the sport as he used to be. You get what I'm saying?
I agree about the domestication, but I think I personally think it comes from having children. I think having children has changed his whole perspective on everything. And I think because he said it before, he said it many times, like he never wants to fight with kids before he had kids. He said, I don't want, he's like, I think it's the disadvantage. He said it about all the other guys who have kids. And I think that's what really domesticated him. I think especially after his second, when he had his daughter, I think that's what started like grounding him. Because, you know, once you have a little baby girl, that changes you.
Do you think having kids automatically makes you domesticated as an MMA fighter?
No.
Okay, that's okay. I was just
specifically for Conor McGregor.
Okay, got it. All right.
Because Conor McGregor always had that, you know, like nothing is in my way mentality. I am God and you are my peasant. And then he has a baby boy. And now like a lot of said, now I want to build this kid up. And now it's just like, okay, cool. And now he has this little baby girl. And now he's a third on the way. I just don't see how with everything he's got going on with the kid on the way and all that shit. Granted, he has a great support system. He has a great family and all that stuff. But I think that's what more is domesticated. I don't think it's the money. I don't think it's any of that. I think all the money doesn't make a difference. He's a competitor, as we all know. If you don't know Conor's a competitor by now, you're crazy. He is. It's already been proven so many times. So the money's never going to stop him from wanting to compete. I think, but I think being the savage that he needs to be in his style of fighting, I don't know if it's going to reflect in his training, because I think he just in low key is just enjoying being a dad right now.
Right.
I think he's just enjoying it, you know? So
in other words, it pays off to be a deadbeat. So it's like to have kids you don't care about really. It's like, fuck the kids, you know? I'll define it. Or Khabib, Khabib is like,
that's not true.
Khabib's
Dustin
like,
is a great dad, and they feel him.
Max Holloway
too, yeah.
Max fucking Holloway.
You're right.
Yeah.
Look at
Khabib.
Look at Cowboy when he had a kid.
Oh yeah, he was an animal. Yeah.
He was marking dudes.
You got it. That's a topic that's singular to the person. It's
right,
not
right,
like a general broad topic, you know?
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think in Conor, and not in a negative way, but it works against him as far as in his fighting. I don't see him getting back to that point.
Right.
Maybe he does. Maybe he proves us all wrong. Maybe this loss is gonna make him be like, listen, babe, fuck you. I'm gonna see you once a week. I gotta go into this dark room over here, and I'm not gonna leave. Who knows?
He's like, I'm leaving you. I'm leaving the kids. I'm gonna go train. He's gonna drop him off at a bus stop in his rollie.
He's like,
and
I
then just hit
gotta
the
go.
gym
I
and
gotta
start
go.
rolling.
I gotta go punch this old nigga in the bar again because I'm losing fucking mind right now. You know, like,
I know he needs a win. Like,
Yeah, you know what?
damn.
We need a drunker Conor. We need him in the bar, just fucking mollywhopping old dudes in the fucking face and just talking some shit. That's what I want to see.
Okay.
Yeah,
But
like I
for,
mean, think
for
about
the
it,
viewers,
too.
he's being facetious. All right.
Yeah.
Don't cancel us.
But really think about this too. Khabib has a child too, I believe, right? But I believe like for Khabib, it's more so, the wife takes care of my child, so I don't have to really worry about that when I'm training. You know what I mean? So you're right. It depends on a fighter. But Conor McGregor, man, does he fight again? Do you believe that Conor has the hunger to fight again this year?
I
No,
don't
do you think
Connor's the
the
type
better
to
question?
retire on a loss?
Okay, so that's a good question. Does he fight this year? And then also, does he have this season that he wanted to, have like 3 fights in a year? You know, that's what I'm saying.
We can't
So
speak on the season yet.
okay,
We
so,
can't
but
because
a win, yeah, a
it
fight, another
depends
fight.
on if he when he gets the fight and if he can get the W on that. Is he gonna go straight back to I want Khabib, I want the champ, or is he just gonna be like I just want fights? It depends. His season is gonna be really on like his competition,
Right.
but I am almost 100% confident he fights again in 2021.
Okay. Okay.
And it's possible no matter who it is, if he wins, he might retire.
Okay. So I found there's something about Conor that I've noticed throughout his career. Like he had 22 wins and 19 of them were like by knockout, right? If I'm not mistaken. Oh, he had 22 wins and 19 of them by knockout. However, like a majority of those knockouts were all in like either the first or the second round. And as we've seen with his fights, whenever he gets pushed past the second round of any fight,
Right.
like he just seems to not be all together. Like that cardio doesn't seem to like hold up. Like I don't know. Listen, man. Personally, I'm going by all the fights that I've seen of his, and even last night, even after that first round, I thought he looked a bit like winded. He didn't look as like fresh as Dustin. Personally, he didn't look as fresh as Dustin to me. So
I think for a guy punching with just his arms and not using his leg, I think he looked great for a guy with one leg. I don't think it was a cardio issue at all. And I think this cardio issue thing, I truly believe is low key a myth.
You think his cardio thing is a myth? What do you guys think?
I think because you look at the circumstances of the situation you're talking about. As far as from what you've seen, it was with Nate Diaz, that 5-round fight where he gets in that zombie, like his head bobbling type shit. But you got to remember that that was a 170 fight. Like that was, he's not used to that frame.
Yeah, I mean his cardio might be fine, but when you pressure him and when you if you wrestle him as well, you tire him out faster. So I think that he has good cardio, but it's not great cardio. It's good cardio, but it's not great. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I don't think it's enough to be like he can't last past the third round or something. The other person is guaranteed to win if you will. That's bullshit. That's all bullshit.
Not guaranteed. Listen. If he's fighting one of these dogs in the top 5 and he gets out of the second round, I don't like Conor's chances. I don't like Conor's chances in the third round against Chandler, Oliveira, Tony Ferguson, Gaethje. I don't like his chances in the third round against any or even Hooker in the third round because like Conor has like 90% of his finishes within the first 2 rounds. 90% of his finishes are within the first 2 rounds, and a lot of those are within like the first round. So with the way these guys are, how well rounded they are, they're gonna tire him out. They're gonna level change. They're gonna use some wrestling. They're gonna use some clinch work. They're gonna deaden his leg. They're gonna throw calf kicks at him. So I don't know. What do you think, Chris?
No, I agree with you. I think his cardio is suspect. I mean, like you said, we don't really see him get out of the first or second too often when he wins. I mean, with Nate Diaz, I mean, he was so tired. He really was zombie mode those 4th and 5th rounds. And then you could also look at him fighting Mayweather as well. And those late, before he got finished, he looked pretty tired. So, I like what you said. I would not like to bet on Conor after a 3rd round in any fight. Like anyone in the top 5, if that goes past the first couple rounds, I wouldn't bet on him. I think he's going to be tired.
I have to agree to disagree there.
That's a final statement.
He beat Nate Diaz, a cardio machine, in a 5-round war. Lest we forget, he beat Max Holloway by decision. A cardio machine.
That was 100 years ago.
No, but the thing is, no. The thing
it
is,
happened.
The thing is,
he
was tired.
Fault that he knocks niggas out.
Listen.
It's not his fault.
Listen, he was tired. We can't sit here and say that Conor wasn't tired in the 4th and 5th round fighting against Nate Diaz.
Right.
And Nate
Who said
Diaz,
that? Who said that?
Okay, got it. All right.
I didn't say that.
He was extremely tired.
Everybody is tired in the 4th and 5th round, but he showed up. That's
his
the
will to
difference.
win. Yeah.
It was like, if I'm not mistaken, I think it was the 3rd round where you started seeing him like with that wobble type shit. And then the 4th round, he started off a little, but then he picked it up. And the 5th round, he picked it up. He started showing up, bro. That's what champions do. Yes, he gets tired midway through a fight, and then he just comes back. People get fucking tired, bro.
Listen,
and
man.
he did that at 170.
All I'm saying is that his cardio is suspect. That's all I'm saying.
Because of the yacht. It's the yacht that makes you tired. That's what it is.
I think it's always
just
been.
To answer your question also, I was going to say, like, this Conor we have now, I would tell you, I don't think wins the decision against anyone. He has to finish him. But we're talking about Conor, let's say pre-COVID. I think it doesn't matter. He'll beat most of the people. But Conor now, like this Conor now, I don't see it in him going to decision.
Yeah.
Now.
Like that too, man. Like I hate it when people say, "Oh man, this Conor is much better. He's more respectful." Blah 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 blah. Sometimes you get arrogant anger, like savage mentality to the fighter. The Conor bring that back. You know what I mean? Like fuck people's feelings. You know, you're getting in the cage in your underwear and fighting people. You know what I mean? So like, don't. Sometimes you need that to motivate you. Like Conor didn't seem. I don't know, man. That fire to kill somebody wasn't there. It wasn't there.
And that's also that mental warfare is kind of gone.
Yeah.
Because a lot of his opponents he defeated before he got in there.
Yep.
Before they got in there. That's Muhammad Ali shit. I beat you before I got you in that ring. And that's what Conor used to do. So now when you go into Conor, he's respectful. I want your hot sauce and all this shit. Like, I'm not scared of this man no more.
What's your hot sauce?
This is just a man. You
Fair
know?
play to you.
You know? It's just like, I want to give you money for your charity. That's all cool, but save that for afterwards, you know? Like, I want to fucking kill you first, and then I'll be nice to you and help you out with different things. But it's like that fear that he put on people beforehand. It was like, oh my God. Like, yeah, I've watched footage. I know how Conor fights. And then you see him face to face and he shuts your shit down, everything you're saying. And he just gets your blood flowing. You get that face off and you see him just standing. Then it's like hits you like, oh my God, I have to win this in your heart. And then you start getting that pressure hits.
Yeah.
I don't feel like that pressure is going to hit like it used to with nice guy Conor. Like, to your point.
Man.
I got another question for y'all. Like, for me, it's only one person, right? So in history, can you guys recall someone who was like a god in their sport, fall from the top, like all the way, like they build a crazy empire, fall from the top and recover and become a great champion or become a champion besides Muhammad Ali?
Yep. Sugar Ray Robinson did it.
Okay.
He did it. Multiple
Actually,
times.
I think there's multiple boxers that have done that. If you're looking for boxing.
Just in general, like okay, combat. I guess we could do combat sports. So Muhammad Ali is the only one I could think of who's considered to be like royalty or like a god of his sport. And we saw him fall from the top, and then he came back and beat someone like George Foreman, who was like the killer of that division at that time. You know, that's what I'm saying. So,
Yeah.
Is Sugar Ray Robinson, you guys are saying, is something similar?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Big time.
Yeah. There's a few boxers that have done that. That we
I
talking about
mean-
like got to MMA. I mean, boxing royalty, whatever. There's a few that have gotten back up. That's not
What about an MMA?
an MMA that have dropped from royalty and came back. Damn.
It has to be a few people. It has
I
to
got
be a few names.
I got two, I think. One of them you could say Dominic Cruz. I mean, he had like a career-ending injury, and then he came back and got the title. I think
No,
he
yeah,
but
lost
he-
it.
No,
then-
but
but
he didn't
he's
get
not talking
knocked
about
out.
just winning.
That's what I'm saying. He didn't get knocked out. He didn't get knocked out by someone. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm talking about MMA
you know what you
royalty.
could say then.
I'm talking about
But he's
MMA
al-
royalty.
What he's saying is that like not fall down and then just come back and get a win. He's talking about come back to MMA royalty. Like if Dominic Cruz was champion right now, then I could go to your opponent.
Oh, you
But
know
that's
what?
not what he's saying.
Then you know what? This might be controversial, but you can argue DC. I mean, he got knocked out by John Jones, and he came back at heavyweight and knocked out Stipe. Now I know he lost the trilogy, but DC was on top of the world on the champ for a minute after John beat him twice. So
Yeah.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
That's a
I'll
decent
give you
one.
that, Chris.
Yeah.
That's a decent one. I'm not gonna lie, because at that point DC was about, I think, 38 years old, or 37, 38 when he fought John Jones.
Around there, yeah.
Yeah, and then you know, that was like devastating. That was devastating for his fans. That was devastating for him. Then for him to come back at 39 and then beat Stipe like in the first
Become
round,
a champ.
in the 1st round to become champ. That I consider DC to definitely be MMA
And
royalty.
defend both belts. Let's we
Defend
forget
both belts.
the
Yeah.
only person to do it. Amanda Nunes. I know Amanda Nunes has done it yet. Has she defended her featherweight belt? Or this is gonna be her first defense.
I believe she defended.
She defended both, right?
Yeah, she
Yeah.
defended both because she
Okay, she's
fought,
the
she
second
fought
person,
Felicia
okay.
Spencer. Felicia Spencer
Yeah, yeah.
and Felicia Spencer is a featherweight, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. Now, having said that, even though DC is a pretty good one, I don't know. First of all, I don't know if there's ever been anything to the magnitude of Conor, like in terms of royalty. Like the closest thing I would say is like something like, because I haven't been following the sport as long as you guys, but the closest thing to royalty, like the highest level of royalty, would be something like John Jones, right? So like,
You're forgetting somebody. Anderson Silva, sir.
no, that's what I'm saying. Anderson Silva and John Jones are like that level, right? So now,
Yeah.
if they were to fall down and then become champions, like fall down, I'm talking about from a knockout, and then become
Yeah.
champions, I think that would be like the same type of situation.
Yeah. I would say so. Now,
So when
granted-
you say fall, you mean just getting knocked out, or do you mean like going on a loss streak and then coming back? Like what exactly do you mean?
I mean, DC is enough. That's enough of an example. Like DC, you know, I consider DC to be MMA royalty. You know, like
100%.
yes, for sure. Like he's especially what he accomplished being like I would consider DC to be the underdog like most of the times, like because of his size and
Because the size is
yeah.
that's why I said Chandler is like a little DC in his division because he's tiny.
Oh,
But I think DC,
you know
no
who
matter
else you
what,
could
is a
say
top
too?
3 heavyweight all time. Always, I think he's gonna be in the top 3 heavyweights all time, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I think
Um,
with
say, Chris,
Stipe
You know who
and
else
with
kind of fell from grace?
Fedor.
What you said?
You can argue too, Henry Cejudo. I mean, he got that knee from Mighty Mouse, comes back, beats him, takes the belt, and becomes the champ.
But
I mean-
Henry Cejudo wasn't on top. He was.
That's what I'm
royalty,
saying, exactly.
To Rose's point,
Exactly. We're talking about
That's true. He wasn't. Yeah.
we're talking about
he was just a
someone.
contender.
Exactly. We're talking about someone who built like an empire, got to the top of the mountain, then gets knocked all the way down. Like I don't think any one situation is as brutal as Conor right now, actually.
Yeah.
like you know, that magnitude, you know, and then to get knocked down to where he is now. Like if he can recover, listen, I'll say this. If Conor can recover from this and become champion, I'll say this right now. Conor will be the greatest champion of all time.
That's to defend it, but I agree. I won't say it's the greatest champion, you're bugging, but it'll be the greatest story in MMA, 100%.
That's the thing.
But
The story to me, the story is what makes the career. You understand what I'm saying? Like the story, like I'm talking about in history. When you look at it in history, the stories are the things that we're gonna remember the most. And
but don't forget,
for Conor, no one is falling from as high as Conor is falling from. Like no one, like you understand what I'm saying? In MMA, no one is falling from that high. The perspective is different.
So let me ask you this. Let me put something on you. By the time he could be able to do that, right? We could potentially have Israel Adesanya as the light heavyweight champion and a middleweight champion. We could potentially have John Jones as a heavyweight champion. You're telling me he's a better champion than both of them?
No.
At that time?
Yeah, you shut down that argument very fast.
No, sir.
Listen, Israel Adesanya is my favorite fighter, possibly of all time.
He is this generation's Anderson Silva, 100%. He is everything and more than Anderson Silva was. He speaks English, which is a fucking great thing. He's got a great personality. I mean, and I've never seen someone so clear that they want to fight. You know, they love. This is a passion, like Anderson Silva. I can't stop making a comparison between them. The same jitters I used to get when Anderson Silva walked in the cage, I kind of get that with Izzy. Yeah. I'm just excited to see what he's gonna do to these dudes. I'm not emotionally attached to him like I am to Conor, but I am excited every time. I'm just dying to see what new thing he's gonna come up with. You know, is he gonna roundhouse kick him? What is he gonna do? You know, he's a freaking Power Ranger in there. And it's just incredible. I can't wait for that Jan fight. Oh my God. Yeah. So your greatest champion of all time argument is
no. I got it. I got you.
I'm excited.
But it sounded good for a second though. You can't lie. It sounded pretty good.
But I will stay with, no matter what happens with all those other guys, I still think if Conor could come back and become champion, especially defend it, that is the greatest story
of all time.
And the greatest comeback story of all time. 100%. Nobody's gonna have that title besides him.
No.
But
champion
wise, no.
Side note, that setup, that Chandler setup for Dan Hooker to knock him out, that the body blows to the headshot, that setup was brilliant. The way he cornered him and landed that shot. Oh man, brilliant, man, brilliant. Because
I tell you, go ahead.
Honestly, I always enjoy seeing fighters who are shorter move around and and get inside. I always enjoy seeing that. Fighters at a height disadvantage, seeing that because I'm short. So, I enjoy seeing that kind of,
He said it was completely biased.
Thank you.
Just making it clear, it's for me, it's not for you.
But yeah, Chandler. Oh man, Chandler. Don't sleep on Chandler. Chandler is a dark horse still.
I told y'all that a long time ago, Papa.
Listen, I don't know nothing. I don't know anything about what you.
I know, but that's why I wanted to make it clear to y'all. I'm like, I know this cat, and I know y'all sleeping.
Yeah,
but I agree. Chandler Hooker kind of reminded me when MMA was still on the come up, and not everybody was a complete mixed martial artist. You still had specialists going at each other and shit like that in the beginning, and it was incredible. And it's just that kind of reminded me of that. Hooker just looked outclassed everywhere. It looked like one of those things where it was like a striker versus a complete martial artist, and that is a recipe for disaster. That's what it looked like.
Before we go, I have to add that what's his name also had a crazy presence in the octagon. Like he had zero fear. He was completely sure about what he wanted to do. Chandler. So that's why I'm intrigued about a matchup with either him and Khabib or Oliveira and Khabib, because both of them are very sure about what they want to do. Like there's no hesitation, zero hesitation. That's why one of those two have to fight him. And that's the final thought.